This conference will
Now the big question is like we are creating records, we are just updating the records, we are using one data window control dot update, and it is doing all work, like it is deleting, it is updating, and it is inserting. But how it works? Okay, so the now question is how internally it works. So I have prepared one PPT for you. So here, so what is PB data window control? The Power Builder data window control is a container for data window objects. You know about that. In the Power Builder application, you can use it in a window to present an interactive display of data, that we can display some data here. The user can view and change data and send changes to the database. So it is simple one that we have already discussed. Now, how it works, how it sends DML commands to database. So there are some uh, logic behind this. So let me explain you one by one. So first thing is Power Builder data window contains these buffers. Okay, so there is a buffer. So what is buffer? Buffers can hold values. So primary buffers. When we retrieve some records, that will be in primary buffer. Okay, so just consider some containers. When we retrieve record from the database, it is in primary buffer. When we delete something, when we delete some rows, it's moved from primary to deleted buffer. Okay, and there is a filter function. When we filter something, that moves from primary buffer to filter buffer. Okay, like when you retrieve, all records are in filter buffer. When you delete, it moves that record from filter buffer to deleted buffer. Ignore about the filter one this time, we'll explain filter, what is filter. And when we apply some filter, so that means the row that pass the criteria goes to filter buffer. So that what is filter? In generic term, filter is like that is allowed to pass, for which it is built. Like for T filter, only it's allowed to T, not like other things. Okay, so these are the buffers. First thing is buffer, and then status. So the row and column status. So first is row and column status. Row, so row has new. When we insert a new row in data window, row has new modified. When we add at least one column value in new row, row and column not modified. When we retrieve data from database, that is not modified. So row has four status, column has only two status. So row, the first new, when we create a blank row, new modified when we enter something into the blank row, not modified when it's retrieve data from the database, that row is in not modified. Data modified when we change at least one column value from the retrieved row. So when the row comes and we change something, that status is converted to data modified. Okay, and this is the matrix. Like you have created a row and you have not entered anything, then Power Builder does not create that row into the Power Builder. So that means it's just a row creation here, and there is nothing in primary buffer because nothing is coming from database. You have not deleted anything, so there is nothing in deleted buffer, and filter buffer never creates a command. Okay, and when you type something in the newly created row, that status is converted into new and modified. So that creates insert command. And a new modified record, if you moved that new modified record, if you delete before save, that goes to the deleted buffer and no command will be created. And the same thing is for filter, ignore this. Not modified. Like not modified, you have not modified anything. That means in primary buffer, no command will generated. And if you deleted that record, then it will be moved to the deleted buffer and then deleted command will be generated. Data
Keshav,
modified. Yes.
uh, suppose we enter the enter the data in the row, right? And then
Yes.
delete the row.
Yes.
Then data will be going in the delete buffer or not?
Record will be there. Like you have created a new record, you entered
Yeah,
something.
right,
Now,
right.
first when you created, that is new. When you entered something, that is new and modified. And
Okay.
when you delete that record, that moves to the deleted buffer. But
But I
because
did not hit that save. It's not saved in database. So,
yes, that is moved to deleted buffer, and this matrix says if the record is new modified and buffer is deleted, then no command. Look,
okay.
the deleted, new modified, and the intersection will be the result. No command, because you have not,
Okay.
you have created, you have changed something, and you deleted that thing. That doesn't mean that something is
Okay.
coming from database and you need to push into the database. Correct?
Okay. Correct.
In the case of not modified, that means you have retrieved the record and you just deleted that record and it is in deleted buffer. So that delete command will be created. And data modified, like if you retrieve the record, you change something, that means it is currently in primary buffer. And if you save, the update command will be generated. If you delete that record, that means only delete command need to be generated, no update command. Make sense? Like this, there are two things. One is new record, new row without any data, that is new status. New row with some data, that is new plus modified, and we call it new modified. And if it is in primary buffer, then only primary buffer. If it is in primary buffer, then what we need to do? We need to create insert, because it's not a old record, it's new record. If it is in deleted buffer, then anyone tell me what we need to create here?
Mm,
Do I need to
deleted
create something?
buffer. Not blank.
That doesn't mean that nothing is coming from database. Row is new. You added something, but later you decided to delete. That means nothing will go to the database. Never insert, never delete. So nothing will be created. And in case of like not modified, I'm saying when you retrieve the record and nothing is changed, it will be in primary buffer, and status will be not modified. Okay, like change something. That means you have changed something, so it called data modified. And if it is in primary buffer, what it need to be create? Insert or update?
Update. Update.
Update. And if it is in deleted buffer, delete buffer always create delete buffer, because data is available into the database and we are moving that to deleted buffer. So that means delete command will be created. Make sense? Anyone has
Yes.
anyone has confusion? No. I think everyone has some idea. Okay. Now the next question is like insert. There is no where clause required. When you insert something, nothing is required in where clause. Yes, but update and delete requires a where clause. Now the question is how PB gets its where clause. The it decide insert, update, delete based on buffers and status, and then how it decide the where clause, that is the update property. So like if allow update is available, that means it requires something to create. Then table name is here. Updatable columns, that means the column that need to be included into the insert command. You need to select some columns from here. What is the unique key that will be used for creating a where clause? And here the some conditions to create a where clause. Key columns, that means only the key column will be added in where clause. Key and updatable columns, the columns where key and updatables means only the list of columns, then it will create key column like id and first name and last name, so it will create a long where clause. Key and modified column, that means key plus that the column that has been modified only. Make sense? And here is the identity column. If your database is working as a identity column, so the key column, unique key column will be identity, so you need to define here. So this way data window and data window controls works to each other and creates commands based on your data, and it's very powerful feature of Power Builder. Where clause decide the columns and values based on defined in update property of data window object. Anyone has question here? No? I think someone should have some questions. So if you are not able to understand this, just raise this. You are not able to understand. Anyone? Everyone is able to understand this terminology, how it works? Okay. Now let me come to the next part. So the next part is This is currently we are working with data windows. Like we create some record, we update and we delete. Now if we need something that is we need the same thing, but we should not show something to user. There is a object called data store, the similar as data window control. So let me create one window here. Okay, now create one window from wbase, allow here activity and call it sample data store w data store. Nothing will be visible to you, but everything will work like data window control. Okay, here this is, I need to create one thing here, and that should be called data store. Okay, and toolbar we call it ds. Okay, just copy from here w data store. It's just a simple screen. Okay, because we have created in the main menu, that's why it is here also. We don't need. So what we need to do, every time go to the activity, file, data store, remove this toolbar, add this toolbar. Now, okay, now let's create a data store. I am putting one screen here, data store. So over the click we need to define one data store. Okay, so like data store will be I am defining instance label. Instance means that data store will be available over the full screen, not in local. So I'm saying data store and the naming it id as sample or id as master. Okay, now in data window what we do, we create and then we assign a data object, and before that we assign a transaction object. In data store we also need to do that part, equal to create data store. Then what we do, then we assign a data object, data window control. Yes, in data window control what we do, we go here and we assign something like expense master. Okay, so same thing we need to do here, copy d expense master, then d expense master, and then we need to assign a transactional object, set trans object, sqlca. The same thing we need to do with here, like I'm saying master. So parallelly we will do both things. Okay, one in data store and one in, so here open dot set set trans object sqlc. Okay, so we have done three things: created, assigned a data object, assigned a transaction object. Same thing we have done with data store: create that data store, assign a data object, and assign a transactional object. Okay, now go to the new. Now in new we create insert row, and that is 0. And the same thing is I am saying long ll inserted row. Okay, so it will create a record in data store also. Same thing like in uh, like parallelly, if we do this same, or we'll do it later. Now what we need to do, we need to set one master id in the new event. How we will do, generally we use dot set item, and it is ll inserted row, comma the name of column, that is master id, and the value maybe we have created previously a function, that is f key gen, f key gen. Okay, now if you see, you can add value in expense master by clicking and by typing, but because data store is not a visible part, it's not a visible part for you or for user, so we need to do the same thing with value also, and that will be and I am putting here new master created from ds. Okay, and now what we need to do in the save, go to here, dot update, and commit using sqlca. Now let's try. If I go and try to create a new, it will give me error because I have not created data store yet. It is giving me error that null object reference at line 3 because there is no data store created. It is defined but not created. So where we have created over the click event. Go to here, create a data store. Now data store is created. We click new, that means a record is being inserted into the data store, and then we will save it. Let's check if it is saving or not. We have not added any message box, that's why nothing is displayed to us. The table is master, expense master. Can you see it is updating or not?
Yes, this is
So that means
saving too.
not visible to us, but it is creating the record. Yes. Now we can also retrieve this data store the same way. Let's retrieve this. After creation we can also retrieve this. IDS master dot retrieve, retrieve. Retrieve, created a new record, save as, save. So that means a new record, same record will be created with 91. Okay, now let me show you the one most powerful function of Powerbuilder. You can also share the values from here to here. How? I am saying IDS master dot share data with which one? The name is DW master. So between data store to data window you can also share data. Now when I create and I retrieve and share, look, the data store is being retrieved, nothing happened with the data window, and it share its record to itself. Yeah. Now let me create one. Look, it's 3, 96, 97. So I am creating in data store and showing into the data window control. How? By share functionality. So whatever is happening with data store, that will be visible over the data window because we have shared to each other. So how, what we have learned here? We learned data store and share data method, and the same thing is here. You can write everything like delete also, print also. So why we use data store while everything is same? So a data store is a non-visual data window control. Data store act like a data window control, except they don't have many of visual characteristics associated with data window control. Like data window control, a data store has a data window object associated with it. When to use a data store? Can you read this in 1 or 2 minutes? Read first use case. Suppose that the data window object display in the data window control is suitable for online display but not for printing. In this case, you could define a second data window object for printing that has the same result, set description, and assign to the object to a data store. You can then share data between the data store and data window control whenever the user asks to print the data in the window. You could print the content of the data store. So like you have thousands of record that is displaying currently and you need to print, but the format will be the different. So there is one way you again retrieve from database, that is very bulky operation, and the other way just share your data with a data store that is working behind that data window and print that data store. Whole data used to show multiple views of same information. When a window shows multiple views of same information, you can use a data store to hold the result set. By sharing data between a data store and one or more data window controls, you can provide different view of same information without retrieving the data more than once. Make sense? Manipulate table rows without using embedded SQL statement. So the first two use case will be very useful for you. So what are the methods for data store? Most of the methods and events available for data store are also available for data store, data window, and data store. However, some of the methods that handle online interactions, that means user interactions with the user, are not available. For example, data store support the retrieve, update, insert, delete method, but not get, clicked row, set row focus indicator. Okay, so you need to read this. Helpful?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So where we need to use this? Like we have in one screen we have five data window and that are using the same data sets. Why we use the retrieve five times? We need to retrieve one data store and just need to share the data, and even share the data, and then you also need to rows copy method. What is the difference between share the data and rows copy method? Rows copy means it's copy rows from one data window to another data window, one data store to another data store, one data store to data window to data store. But the limitation is backend queries should be same. The number of statement select column will be same. The type of column should be same. Otherwise, it will not do a share data or rows copy. And the same thing is rows move. So like in copy, it's copy a second copy, but in rows move it moves and deleted from the first one and insert into the second one. But in rows copy, it keeps the first one also and cop creates same copy in the second data control also. So rows copy. Read everything from here. Copy is a range of row from one data window control or data store object to another, or from one buffer to another within a single data window control. Like I want to delete all records without clicking many times. How? Either I need to make a loop and delete all records, or I can move all records from primary to deleted buffer. And whenever my data window control gets some record in deleted buffer, it creates a delete command. And how you can't count how many records are in deleted buffer? A deleted count function will be there. Rows discard, rows move. Okay. So you need to learn about rows move, rows copy, record, filter count, modified count, and I need to write it here. Modified count. It gives a result of how many record has been modified. So this will help you to write a code during your project creation. Modified count, I can say deleted count. So whatever I am creating here, you need to focus on study for those points. Okay, like deleted count. So what it gives? Report the number of rows that has been marked for deletion in the database. So that means it gives a number of record from the your deleted buffer. Use. So like in Powerbuilder help, everything is available here. Use. An updatable data window control data store has several buffers. The primary buffers store the rows currently being displayed. The deleted buffer stores rows that the application has marked for deletion by calling the delete row method. These rows are saved until the database is updated. You can use delete count to find out there are any row in the deleted buffer. If data window is updatable, rows that are deleted are discarded. They are not stored in the deleted buffer. So what is the difference between discard and delete? Here is one question. Discard row versus delete row. When you delete a record, it moves from primary buffer to deleted buffer. When you discard a record, it's move from primary buffer and never copy into the deleted buffer. So it's discard from processing. When you save it, it will not be deleted from database, but that will not be available over your data window. And when you retrieve it again, it will be available. Okay. So I think deleted row, modified count, row count, filter count. So you need to practice these methods, and those are simple methods. So that will help you, like you have all things in your hand, you know many more functions, then you will be able to create applications. Make sense? Now question answer round. So any questions from anyone's side during practice, during this session, they can
Sir,
ask.
I have a question.
Okay, share your screen and
No, 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 sir. Uh,
no
this
need.
is my office laptop. And no, no. I need, but this is my office laptop.
Okay,
I want to. Yes. How to create multiple libraries in a single target?
multiple libraries
Libraries.
in a single target. Yes. Go go to the new, there is a option
Yes.
library. Create a new library first. Let me create new extra lib. Save it. Now go to the target property, because it's already open somewhere something, that's why it's read only. Let me close this and go. Oh, it's already assigned here. How? Go to here and you see this is assigned. Okay, if it is not assigned, you need to just browse, apply,
Okay.
okay. And the next time when you create some object, pb object, like I'm creating one window, if you want to save it in this library, just select it, w extra, that library will contain that. Okay,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
so like why we create separate library? To keep your code simple, or yeah, like in other language we create namespace, we create packages. Here we create pbl to keep same type of code separately with others. Okay, now next question. No one has question. So how many has created some project in weekend, or no one has created like,
Sir, what does tab order mean?
Created.
pardon, what is tab?
Tab order in the column, like if we make it zero, no one can change the
Yes,
data, and yeah.
yes. Tab order is like when you look, I'm here, I'm putting, pressing tab, nothing, because it's only one control. Here you see three controls. First, the order where it goes after next tab, like order for this control is 1, 2 and 3, then 2 and 3. So when I pressing tab, it's moving based on tab order. What is the order for tabbing? So it is called tab order. You are looking for this or something else? Or tab
Yes, sir,
control.
got it.
There is also
No,
one
it's a tab
control
order,
tab.
got it.
Okay. Anyone? So who has created something in weekend? Or who has, or so like who want to share with me what you need to do this? Go to keep your PBL into your drive and share with me with this email ID. You have all this email ID, correct? Keep that into your drive and share with me with this email ID.
So do we need any specific application for accessing PBL file?
PBL file means PBL file can only accessible within Powerbuilder, nothing else. You cannot open those PBLs into Notepad plus plus and all.
Okay, and that exe file, I think, like we can uh,
So
that we have to.
what you need to share with me? Either you can share full folder or just your PBT and your PBL. PBT and PBL. I will not be able to run, but I will able to see your code.
Okay, sir.
Any any anyone has some questions? No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So who has created some applications or who has not created even? Like,
Sir, I created, sir, one library management system.
okay. So do you have not faced any is problem there, or you are okay whatever we have learned till now?
Yes, sir, I faced little problems, but I reviewed your previous recordings and I came to know what which mistake I was making, sir.
Okay, okay, that will be helpful. Okay, so we can close this session, and I see lot of queries should come from your side because this is just only 5 to 10 days we are learning, not like more than 15 days. So queries should come from your side.
So one thing also, there is display column and data column in drop data window.
Yes. What is the difference?
So I
Yes.
want to know about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like we want to show something and we want to save something. Like in male and female, we want to save M, F, O, but that is doesn't mean we need to show the M, F, O to the user. Maybe it doesn't make sense to user. What is M? What is F? What is O? Yes. So that's why we have
Okay,
two things. One is that is need to
and can
display, and one is that we need to send to database. Yes.
okay, okay, got it. And can we if we want to put the same thing, can we put same thing in both of the columns, display and data?
Yes, if you want to save the same thing, you can put the same thing. That is up to you. That is up to your requirement. Like
Okay.
in future, if someone says that I will not say male, female, and other, I say I will say male O, female F, male, then bracket M, female bracket F, other bracket O. Then what will you do? You will change your value at the previous value also. Like previously you have saved with male, female, and other. Now you are saving male O, female F, and other O, and you have created a lot of reports with those values. Then you will not be able to identify, or you need to change all the places where you are using, or you need to migrate your data. You need to change your old data to show this. So better uh, keep your display value separate, data value separate, so that in future if someone says that I want to display something else, your data value will be intact.
Okay, sir. Hello, I want to ask something, sir.
Okay, okay.
So can we add some background images to login page or the page we are showing our tables in this Power Builder?
In data window,
Yes, sir. In the front part is showing like the table is there, but in background one image is there, whole background,
in data
a
window,
transparent image.
behind data window it is showing, it's very typical, but in the header part, footer part, and detail part you can show any screen. So
Okay, sir.
you can show, but that will be very cosmetic change. Keep your make a free form, put your image, then over column, then over that image
Okay,
you
okay.
need to put some column.
In free form we can do that, like
Yes, but not in
in
like
background with.
you cannot do in grid.
Okay, okay, okay.
More questions? No? Okay, so we can wrap up this call for today. Tomorrow we'll learn new things. Okay, so I'm closing this session for today.
Okay, sir.
Anyone has questions, put it on WhatsApp channel.